I need it, right? I don't know, like we're 1 month away from previews kicking off, or just a little on, there's almost a month, but I think we all need any energy we can get. So I appreciate you. So hello, welcome to our last workshop of the 2024 season. We still have other events coming up, but this is the last formal workshop, Festival Expectations. Thank you all so much for being here. I am Lois. If we haven't met already, I think I've met most everyone in the room, but if we haven't met, Lois, she, her pronouns. I'm the co-director of the Hollywood Fringe. A visual description: I am a white woman with mid-length dark brown hair, currently wearing a gray vest and jeans. All right, I'm going to kick this off with some announcements. Thank you to the Zephyr for hosting us in this beautiful theater. Nick is here. Nick, are you in the room? Nope, but Nick is here, the TD of Zephyr, so if you haven't booked a venue and are interested in booking the space for Fringe, he's going to be giving tours after the event, so make sure you connect with him to get that going, because by May 3rd, you're going to want to have a venue booked so that you can be in the printed guide. That's a big deadline coming up. Remember, we are live streaming and recording, so hi everyone watching from home. I hope you were comfy, cozy in pajamas, getting your Fringe education on. And thank you to Haverty for live streaming and dropping in chats. So feel free, if you are watching from the live stream, jump in the chat, ask questions. Haverty is keeping an eye out on that. Okay, perfect. Before we jump into just a few more announcements, I promise I'm going to keep my portion short today. I want to acknowledge, the Hollywood Fringe acknowledges that we are on the unceded lands of the Tongva, Quiche, Gabrielinos, and Gabrielinos. Our statement serves as a commitment and practice as we commit to furthering our connection to Indigenous communities, past, present, and emerging. Some key festival dates to keep up on. What happens on May 1st?
Tickets go on sale.
Yes, tickets go on sale. Let the panic disappear. I want to name right up front, y'all. I know everyone jumps in, okay, tickets are on sale, I'm going to sell out in 5 minutes. It's never happened. It won't happen. And that's okay, especially in a post-COVID world, or almost less COVID world. People wait until more last minute to buy tickets. So I just want to give you that warning now so that no one is having a really shitty night on May 1st wondering why there are still a ton of tickets on your show. It's okay. It always happens that way. And then we have June 6th through the 11th are previews. So that'll be that first chance to get your show up on its feet. Previews are not required, but most shows do have them. And then on June 12th, we have the opening night party hosted in partnership with the LA LGBT Center. We're so excited to be back at that space. So make sure you grab tickets. They are already on sale. If you have a Fringe button as a primary participant, you get a free one. It is already attached to your account. So all you have to do is go to the opening night project page and reserve your ticket with your button, and then it is $0. We also, if you want to purchase your button first for teammates, castmates, things like that, they can get a participant button for $3 at hollywoodfringe.org/market. So make sure they do that before buying their ticket. That way it is $0 because we want you to have a free access ticket to the event. We do have VIP tickets available for $25 if you want just a fuller experience. It's a 2-hour early entry plus some special access to a red carpet activation and speeches and a special guest, things like that. But either way, general admission is free starting at 7 p.m. And then what happens on June 13th through the 30th? The Fringe. We're almost there. Can you believe it? I can't. It sneaks up on me every year. But that is the official Hollywood Fringe Festival 2024. And then after that, on July 1st, we are back at the LA LGBT Center for our awards. This is fun. We're doing it on a Monday for those vets that have been around for a long time. Yeah. Right? That came entirely from participant feedback. We do a post-mortem at the end of the festival for feedback, and that is a genuine, we want to know your experience, your recommendations, what went well, what didn't go so well, because we do make changes based on your feedback. And one of those more recently has been to have awards on Monday so everyone has a full Sunday on the final day of the Fringe. Okay, those are key dates. switching sides. Upcoming pre-festival events. This list is getting so short, and that's so exciting. Our last town hall is going to be Thursday, May 9th from 7 to 9 p.m. at the Eastwood Performing Arts Center. That is a change. It has been updated on the blog and on the project page, but just in case it is in like your written calendar, it is now at Eastwood Performing Arts Center. It was at Jack's prior. And that is our last town hall. Super, super important. So please come to that or watch the live stream. Remember, you can catch any events that you have missed or don't remember because I know that we're giving you so much information at our Hollywood Fringe page at our YouTube page at Hollywood Fringe. So catch up on all of the workshops and town halls you missed there. We also have office hours in full swing. How many people have come to office hours? Yes, we love it. Y'all, this is most people's favorite event. I know it's mine, but this is your chance to really dive into the community. We say it all the time, the festival, or the Hollywood Fringe is a festival, certainly, and it's a place to showcase your art. But just as important, if not more so, it's a community. It's your community. We're going to talk a lot about that today, but why it can be really beneficial to jump in. And so come to office hours and start jumping in now. Make those fringe ships. They are every Wednesday from 7 to 10 p.m. The next two are going to be at St. Felix. Oh, it's like a secret entrance. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Fun. Come on in, y'all. So every Wednesday, 7 to 10 p.m. The next two are going to be at St. Felix in Hollywood. And then the ones after that are going to be at our Fringe Central space. So that's exciting. So make sure you come play, ask Fringe staff. If you have things that are like eating away at you, that's a great chance to connect with Fringe staff one-on-one and ask questions, or a way to connect with your fellow participants and like have an accountability group. I find a lot of participants use that. They find out where everyone else is at in their journey and kind of take notes or share the successes or the trials and tribulations that come with producing your own work. So that's a really safe space to do that. Participant resources, I'm going to remind you where you can find lots and lots of tools that will make your journey easier. I promise that's why we put them together, to make your lives easier. The participant packet at hollywoodfringe.org/participant. Participants, plural. How many people have seen that document? We're seeing more and more hands every time. I'm so proud. Thank you all. Thank you. Use that. There are discounts if you need a further reason to investigate that packet. There's printing discounts, marketing discounts, press discounts, all sorts of things in there. So jump in. We also have the marketing blog up right now. That is going to be for artist marketing opportunities that are run through the Hollywood Fringe. Many of them are free. There's a couple like low cost or paid opportunities, but the majority of them are free, like cabaret or busking or dropping off your printed postcards and posters at Fringe Central. I created an easier link today to make sure more people get eyes on this document. So you can go to hollywoodfringe.org/artists marketing. To find that without having to dig through the blog. But you can dig through the blog at hollywoodfringe.org/news if you want to. Then there's the supportal. Artists, plural. Let me check my notes just because, again, I made it today. Artist, singular. Thank you. Good catch. Artist marketing. Good catch. Thank you. But you can always also go to the blog, just a little news tab on our website. Participants, plural. That one is plural. Yeah, hollywoodfringe.org. And then, but fun tip, we have such a intense online presence. You can basically, and the staff does this, Google anything, blank Hollywood Fringe, and you will likely find it via Google. So if you Google Hollywood Fringe participant packet, you're going to pop right over to the site. So that's a fun fact. The supportal, use that as well, y'all. Support.hollywoodfringe.org. There are tons of articles about every aspect of the Hollywood Fringe that will make your journey easier. Check out our blog. I already talked about the blog, so yay, but check it out. We're putting all of the things basically that are going out to you in your newsletters that are really important that you're able to hold on to into that blog. So that's something to periodically check out to make sure you haven't missed anything. Newsletters. How many people are getting our participant newsletters? Keep your hands up if you're reading them start to finish. Okay, I'm a proud mama. Y'all, this is great. Thank you. You'd be surprised how often people don't read them, and so I really thank you. Thank you all for being active members of your journey. It is important, and I know sometimes there's a lot of repeats, but I promise, like, we're putting things in that are getting asked about on support as well. So know that if we're putting them in, there's a reason for it. So read to the bottom each time. So appreciate it. And Roddy really puts a lot of time in because he just wants to help guide in any way he can. So look out for the bottom for fun Roddy facts and jokes. It's really cute. And also, if you are maybe like missing some of them, try adding newsletters at Hollywood Fringe. I'm going to make sure I get the newsletter. Man, the plurals and the singulars are going to be the death of me today. Hi, come on in, welcome. So newsletter at hollywoodfringe.org. If you put that into your Google or your Gmail or your Hotmail, whatever, as a contact, then they won't go to spam, because sometimes, we do run a MailChimp, so things will go to spam. So drop that into your contacts, and we can be your new email buddy. Follow us on social. We will also be putting things on there at Hollywood Fringe across all platforms. Use hashtag HFF24 when posting about your show. It's so fun because that's a hashtag a lot of people use, so people are able to digitally partake in your show. And then, of course, support at hollywoodfringe.org, your new best Fringe pal. Email us any questions you have. If you're like, I know there's an article, but I can't find it, we'll send you the link. We are there to support. So please take us up on that. Okay, Fringe Central. We talked about it a little bit, but Fringe Central is opening on May 15th, which is earlier than we've ever opened Fringe Central. So we're so excited. We have announced our new location. This year we are at the Ovation Center, which is right on Hollywood and Highland, which is very exciting. It's a real big different location from normal. Like in the past, we've always done something very artist-centric. This year, we are, of course, having that space for artists. We're going to have the artist and industry-only bar and that social space where you can be kind of in a safety zone from the chaos. But the front side of it is going to be more audience-focused. Our goal is to get new audiences into your seats. So that's going to be a great place for you to come as well to interact with potential new audience members and help bring more tourists and more of the community that doesn't know about Fringe into your shows. So that's going to be open May 15th through June 30th. Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays, it's going to be open from 5 to 10 p.m. And on Saturdays and Sundays, it's going to be open from 2 to 10 p.m. You can check out hollywoodfringe.org/central to kind of get more of a rundown on that social space, your social space, and check out a schedule so you can start saving dates for fun industry and press mixers, cabarets, lots of great programming that will continue on to support your artistry all through May and June. I'm almost done, y'all, I promise. All right, awards. So I promise on the May 9th town hall, May 9th town hall, we are going to dive super deep into awards and all of what that looks like. But for the reason of this conversation today, since we are going to touch on it, I want to point out just kind of the basics of how awards work, which is we have two kinds of awards at Fringe. The community awards, which are the Freak Awards, voted on by the Hollywood Fringe community. That means artists, any team members, people who are added to your project, venues, or audiences who have seen 3 to 4, or it's 4 shows at the Hollywood Fringe. That is the community who's voting at the end of the year or at the end of the festival. Everyone gets a ballot who fit into those categories, and then they will vote based on category. So if you are a comedy, your show will automatically be placed in the comedy section for people to vote on. And then we have additional awards like Fringe First, so that's for the world premiere tag, international, which are shows that are here from international, and then Top of Fringe, which is all shows are entered into that category. So that is how those work. So Fringe staff doesn't pick your shows. It is all entirely community voted. Second, we have the Discover Fringe Arts Partner Awards. Those you self-select for, and we'll send out, we'll talk about this at the town hall, and then we'll also send out all of the applications and the awards that are possible. But those are essentially sponsored through our partners. Our partners will come and see shows and pick awards, usually opportunities. We have 4 or 5 festivals already that we're working with to provide an exchange award. So it means last year a show went to Sydney Fringe, or is going to Sydney Fringe on scholarship with a free venue and free registration via an award at Hollywood Fringe. So we'll have awards like that through our community partners. And those, like I said, you self-select. So at mid-May, we'll send out the information on that. And then you go through and decide what awards you want to be considered for. consider, like, some of them will be very specific. They are looking for a comedy with 3 or less people, or they are looking for a show, by BIPOC writer, or there's going to be very specific things. So it'll be your job as the primary producer to go through and see what is going to fit your show, and then you submit for consideration. So just so you know, those 2 types of things. But again, more information coming. I just know we'll talk a little bit about awards today. Okay, that is it from me. I'm going to turn it over to this beautiful panel. I am so excited by the just amazing knowledge that you have sitting in front of you today, y'all. Absolutely brilliant fringers. So I'm going to hand it over. Please, everyone, introduce yourself with your name, your pronouns, a visual description, and then talk a little bit about your journey at Fringe and beyond, because all of you have gone on to do things beyond the festival. So Bonnie, you want to take it away? You have the mic at the ready?
Yes. Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here. So my name is Bonnie He. My pronouns are she, her. My visual description is I am a Chinese American woman with very long dark brown hair, wearing a Terrible Person t-shirt. So the reason for this is I was a Hollywood Fringe participant in 2022 with my physical comedy clown show, A Terrible Show for Terrible People. I won the Diversity Scholarship that year, as well as the Comedy Award. And I took my show to Edinburgh last year, sold out my entire run, 23, thank you, 60 seaters, so it was a slog. Everyone's like, did you have fun? I was like, no, it was work. Plus, I was working like my actual day job like half days, so I was exhausted. So yeah, when people asked me if it was fun, I was like, no, it was not. And from that, I am actually now doing a UK tour, very small, this summer. So very exciting. Thank you. And this year, I am now producing another comedy show, it's just a sketch show called Recolonizers, which is a satire about making America America again.
Hi, I'm Jen Albert, she, her pronouns. I'm a white woman with brown curly hair and blue eyes and a funky hat, a button-down shirt, some jeans, and some boots. I have been doing Fringe since 2015. We do large spectacle shows with live music, lots of fight choreography, all kinds of crazy stuff. We won Best Drama last year. Yeah! For Battle Song of Boudica. So, you know, we're sort of that anomaly that came to Fringe with a ton of props, not a ton of set pieces, but a ton of props, a ton of actors, and we still get in and out in 15.
Check it.
Yeah, rehearse your in and out. Rehearse your in and out. So I love Fringe. We are not doing it this year because my husband is writing our current show for October, and then a show for next year. In the meantime, I normally work as a stunt coordinator and an intimacy coordinator outside of Fringe, and in the theater community as well. So that's what I do.
Hey there. Rebecca O'Brien. My show is Getting There. My pronouns. I'm tired. My pronouns are not he, she and her, and
Physical description.
oh yes, I'm the heavyset one. You can laugh. It's okay. I'm definitely not my natural hair color, and blue jacket and leggings, and I have a little stain right here from lunch. And yes, I was going to do 3 shows. I was going to do Fringe in 2020, but we all know what happened in a little bitty theater, and I I set up for 3 shows, and then the Hudson said, I think you can do 5. And so I said, okay, I'll do 5. Oh, I got to change the postcard. And then they said 2 more. So then I got to change the postcard again. So I did 7, and then I ultimately did 10.
Performances,
And then,
not shows, right?
yeah, shows. What did I say?
Performances?
Performances,
Yeah.
yes. I've been on a plane and major traveling situation here. Okay, so then I got asked to do the Hollywood Independent Theater Festival, so I did that once. And the Hudson wants me back, but I have some family stuff going on. We're going to do it again, and I'm excited. And is that really all I need to cover?
Did you win any awards?
Oh, yeah. I won Best Solo Show. I have to say I'll put a plug in for doing previews because they took me into a preview, and I did win for the second night, June 2nd. I won Best Platinum Award, and that put me on the map. It's over to, oh, you have a microphone. It's over to her.
Hey, how are you guys doing? Give yourselves a hand for being here.
Yes.
For making it this far. This is not easy, okay? I'm sure your butt cheeks are clenched. You're holding your breath because you're at the final stretch now. My name is Maylia Mills. My pronouns are she, her. I am a sister, aka a black woman. I have a curly ponytail. I'm wearing a vintage fringe shirt. I have on black jeans and black shoes. My show was in the Hollywood Fringe last year. It was called The Allure of Thug Life. It was a hip-hopsicle about an upper middle class teen who longs to be a gangster rapper. And she wanted to go from riches to rags. So I did that here, and I won Best Musical. I won the Lane Terrain Award. I won Pick of the Fringe and Hollywood Producers Encore Award. Am I forgetting anything?
Nominated for an award.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And I was going to touch on that, too. So I was nominated for a couple awards.
Some pretty big ones.
Yeah, some that were going overseas. Maybe Sydney Fringe and Splash Award and... I'm forgetting one now, but yeah, there was a couple nominations, and what she said about in terms of like looking and applying for all the things that you're right for, absolutely do that, and then email the people that you've sent your show into. Yeah, email them again. Do some follow-ups. Show your personality so they get to know you. They get to like you. When the voting happens, right after your final show, send it to your show, and right before the voting happens, remind that you're up for some awards. Hold it higher, right, like in my mouth. Okay. Don't cup it. Oh, I thought you said do cup it. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna leave all those jokes alone. Anyway. So yeah, be sure to apply for all the awards, and you never know. So like the Splash Award, I did not get that award, but they asked me to come out to Ventura and do my show, and I got paid to go out there and do the show. So we'll get into more, but pleasure meeting you all.
Yeah.
I got nominated for Top of Fringe. 1 of 5, and I also was nominated for Social Image, Helping Social Image Award, and the Encore Award, and maybe something else.
Just a rich amount of success here. So absorb all of this information because I always say the coolest part about the Fringe community is the knowledge share and the willingness to not need to be the only one at the front, but to bring everyone with you based on what you know. So thank you for being shining examples of that. And with awards, I just want to mention 100% take advantage, and we're going to talk more about it, but take advantage of all the opportunity. We want you to have a life after Fringe. That is our goal, and awards are part of that. But also practice self-awareness. If you are not right, don't put yourself out for an award that that doesn't make you look good as an artist, because our reputations are always 5 feet in front of us, right? So just know that, right? Everything that you fit for, apply, but have self-awareness while you do so. Okay, so Fringe is right around the corner, 100%, right? What, like, butt cheeks are clenched, like, you're not wrong. It is a scary time. So where should everyone be if you were doing your show right now along with these wonderful humans? What should be the focus?
Making sure your show is excellent. Yeah.
Artistic can get forgotten in the marketing and the
Yes.
producing head. Yeah, absolutely.
I was gonna say that everyone here, they should be exactly here. So look around you, like everyone that actually showed up to this event, like these are the people that are really invested in their shows. They're really invested in each other's shows. They're invested in this festival. So believe it or not, that the same people that you've been seeing over and over again at all of these events are the people that you're going to become friends with throughout the course of the show. Like, I'm still buddies with a lot of people, like shout out to Tony and like Xander back there, because I know them from other festivals. So I feel like you being here, and even you online, you're exactly where you need to be right now.
Even Haverty.
Yeah, and I think as much as you can, keep going to the office hours. And if you can't go, send somebody in your place with postcards. It's really the best thing you can do. When we first started Fringe, I just happened to go to one, and suddenly somebody was like, "Oh my God, I love your show. I don't even know what it is. I haven't seen it, but your postcard's amazing. I want to put an ad in my program for your postcard," and just made a friend that way. And then that person supported our theater company through the entire Fringe that year. And then, of course, created a friendship there and gave them comps, and then they gave me comps, and it just was going back and forth. So as much as you can, the friendship aspect of this is monumental. So as much as you can, get to know people. Again, don't be a jerk, which is sort of the Fringe motto. There's no need to. There's no need to. Everyone is kind. Everyone is really great and wonderful. And the more you can sort of enshrine that on yourselves and around other people, that is sort of the best thing. That's one of the best things you can do, is just being a kind, loving participant with everyone around you.
I would say one of the best things you can do at all these events is put your attention on other people and breathe. And don't worry, you'll get attention. And listen to them and ask them questions. I know this is a no-brainer, and I know Lois says it, but it really helped me. And you know what? That being said, that's a good thing to do before we go on stage, is to breathe and put our attention not just on ourselves. You got to be current and present in your moment, so that'll help. I can't believe we were sitting here going, ooh! I mean, we really are. We saw each other a lot last year. We were at everything. And I went to all the office hours except for the last one. And I left a tea kettle on at home, so it's a good thing I turned around. So that being said, take care of yourself. Self-care. Pack snacks. Maybe have an extra shirt in case you spill. Have a brush in the car. Self-care. Be thinking outside the box. Take a break. Go. Yeah, that's good. Okay, I'm gonna go to the car and have 10 minutes by myself, and then walk back into the theater. I mean, sometimes you got to do that. You got to chill.
So, I'll take two. If you have a bad personality, talk yourself into having a good one. Whatever you have to do, motivate yourself, pep talk, you're on. Office hours, you're on. You're trying to befriend everybody. You're trying to have people befriend you. Like she said, be a good listener. Take people's cards. Hit up all the previews, because those people will then come to your show. So you want to go to people's shows early so those people will come to your show. And befriend shows with large casts. Like, I was a solo show, so I'm like, let me befriend large cast, because that means all these people will come to my show.
Smart.
Yes. I'm trying to think what else. Where they should be. So, at this point too, placing, if you haven't done it already, placing your flyers everywhere you can. If you know somebody at a shop or going and being friendly with people at shops, oh, let me buy you a coffee. Put my posters up. Can I put my posters up here? Like wherever you can get your. I went to Fred 62 in Los Feliz. I was like, oh, can I put a poster up? I saw a couple other people have posters up, but I saw a lot of places where people weren't putting stuff up. So you just gotta, get creative and get the word out there, and definitely be on the Hollywood Fringe Facebook page as you get closer to the show and kind of posting about your show all the time. Here's my show again, guys. Here's the hours. Here's a link.
Yeah, 100%.
And don't hold a grudge if they come to your show when they said they're going to come to your all going to a gazillion shows, and you know what? You might end up adding a show that you didn't know, because that's happened to me, and a lot of people came to that show. So just believe in the process that you're going to be taken care of. And
Yeah, no, that's so great. And echoing what all y'all said, like, show up. You are doing it already. Ellen and I always say, like, every year we'll have 5 or 6 shows that email at the end and go, I had nobody come to my show. This was an awful experience. What did I do wrong? And we have no idea who they are, which tells you a lot, right? Because that means they weren't showing up. Because Ellen and I are at damn near every event, at least one of us, right? So if we have no idea who you are at the end of the festival, you have not come to nearly enough events. So it is so true when we don't get those emails from people who show up. So keep that in mind. All right, so you already started touching on this, so I want to kind of like bring it home. But let's talk about community. At the Fringe, our community is really what gives us strength and what makes this such a different experience from self-producing all by yourself. So what advice do you have for engaging and supporting each other in the Fringe community? And was it worth it? We can talk about like buddying up for box office duties or cross-promotion. Like, how did you engage in the Fringe community in that way?
you know, one just memory pops in my mind. I remember showing up for this woman, and we met very early, you know, at the first event. And I didn't know her from Adam. She didn't know me. And when I finally saw her show, it was amazing. It was just amazing. And she was amazing. And I was genuinely happy for her, as you could tell. And I got on the stage with her and put the camera on her and put all attention on her because it was her night. It was her night. And I showed up for her. I don't know. I believe in karma.
Definitely volunteer to be a box office person for people, and I was stressed about trying to figure out finding people to do that, and 2 people that I didn't even know volunteered to do box office for me, and so I was like, oh, that's, and of course I went to their show after that and brought some people to their shows. Yes. Yeah. I think somebody might have reached out to me online, and somebody else at one of the office hours said, do you want somebody to do box office for you? And then they also gave me great reviews on the website after. So, yeah, I would say volunteer to do somebody's box office. You know, you get to see their show for free, and you get to meet people while you're out there. I don't know if they plug their shows, but I wouldn't mind if they plug their shows, you know, because I appreciate them doing it for me.
And I'm going to sound like a broken record, but it's this community. It's like the people who are already here, the people that you're meeting at the office hours. Because there are, how many shows are there this year?
You know, we don't give those numbers, but hundreds.
I'm so sorry. Okay.
Hundreds.
So hundreds of
yeah.
shows. So there's hundreds of shows at the Hollywood Fringe, but really you're only going to get to know like a fraction of people, because only a fraction of people are going to show up and be doing the work of, you know, really like investing their time and energy. But when you're at the office hours, like, and by the way, to sort of like answer the last question, not last year, when I did Hollywood Fringe in 2022, I didn't start office hours until literally May. So I think everyone's in a in a really good place. You're just meeting the same people at office hours, and everyone is very cool and chill. The unfortunate thing is that because this is Los Angeles, it's not exactly known for being a theater town. So most of your audience members are going to be other fringers and friends and family. But the majority of people are going to be other fringers. It's very, I mean, you know, like I know you guys are like trying like new things, but I would say the majority of your people are not going to be like organic audience. So when you get to know other people and start networking with other people, you're gonna just inherently build this wonderful community, because everyone here is just so nice and so chill. Like, I can't stop being here even though like I did this 2 years ago.
It's a little culty.
What? No. Yeah. I'm just repeating myself, but yeah, it's literally just like the people that you're seeing that you're gonna cultivate like, amazing relationships with, and that you'll still talk to after Fringe, and then you'll get sucked back in year after year.
Take a minute, show, write a review. Help them out. Get the something with the computer. Higher on the net. Higher on the net. Okay.
Choking up the bat.
Write a review for your friends, okay? Write the reviews and, and ask them to write a review of yours, but don't be a nudge. And then I remember sitting at the panel for this last year, and they asked the question, where should you be? And one person said, you should have your show written. And I went, well, I got to finish writing my show. That's what I need to do. Okay, I got to go home and figure out what's in the show and what's not in the show, because I wanted to be under an hour.
Everything that's been said, yes. Community is huge, it's big, it is fringe. It is fringe. It doesn't exist without the community, without the artists, without everybody coming and hopping on another show and being friends with that show. Back in my early, when we first started Fringe, we started with another theater or with another show. We were Punch and Judy, and they were Titus. They were the Titus, the kids Titus, and we decided to get into a fight with them, like on Twitter, right? So we would have these like back and forth fights, but it was on purpose. So we were like doing like these promos, sharing information, doing postcards. So we would leave their postcards at our show, and we would leave and they would take our postcards and leave them at their show. We would constantly share each other's Twitter. We would share our Facebook feeds. So we were going back and forth and just sharing the social media. So like get people's Instagram. And as soon as they post something about Fringe, share it, right? Repost it. If Twitter is still a thing, or X or Threads or whatever all the things are, I don't even know anymore. But share the things. The question that comes up the most whenever I'm at Fringe is literally, what show are you doing? Ask that constantly. Take the postcard. Oh, great, you're doing that show? I'm doing this show. I'm going to write down this little code here. That's a discount just for you. $3 off, $2 off. Free preview, half price preview, whatever you need to do. And put that on the Facebook page. I cannot tell you how important that Facebook page really is. I know people don't do Facebook, but at Fringe they do. Get on that Facebook page, and there's two of them. There's the official Hollywood Fringe, and then there's another one called Hollywood Fringe Festival for whatever year it is. And get invited to that group, make sure you're in that group, and then invite people to get on that group, because that's where a lot of people post things like, help, I need a box office person. Help, I have nobody coming to my preview, free preview, use this discount code, right? And use those discount codes. Use fun discount codes. When we did Punch and Judy, our discount code was "Where's the baby?" Because the baby gets thrown out the window, and nobody knows that until you see the show, right? But that was the discount code, and it was like a big secret. Where's the baby? Oh, what's the discount code? Right? We were passing it around, and everybody knew it, but nobody had any idea what that meant. So it sort of became a legend. And I will tell you this, if people don't come see your show and it's a good show, it will be legend. And people will talk about it, and they'll be like, oh, I heard about that show. It was so good, I heard. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. Sorry you missed it. Yeah. So, do the things.
Yeah, word of mouth is so key.
Oh my God, word of mouth is
And
so important.
I have to share a fun little story just about Titus that year, because it was a kid show.
Titus Jr.
Titus Jr.
Titus Andronicus
But
Jr., yes.
they protested our opening night party because it was 18 plus, but again for promotion. What a smart it was adorable, and it was planned marketing. So that one will always live in a happy memory place for me. They had signs and everything. Yeah, no, it was
little kids.
It was amazing.
One more thing, a buddy system always works. So I remember, for whatever reason, I was coming out of my artist show or whatever in 2022, so I had like no trouble actually like networking at the office hours. But so a lot of my friends that had like were more or less like shyer about like promoting themselves would like tag along with me. And when the buddy system, it's really easy because you don't have to talk about yourself if you're nervous about it. You could be like, oh my god, have you like met my friend Mathia? She's got this amazing show called The Lure of Thug Life. It's amazing. It's super funny. You should get on this. And then she'll throw it back to me afterwards. So the buddy system is always super helpful.
And hashtags. I mean, I never used hashtags in my life, and I mean, I started using hashtags galore. So get on the hashtag train. Okay, so my show's called Getting There, and then a week before the week before it went out, the program, there became another Getting There. Okay, people, I was depressed. I was hysterical. I called Lois. I called Ellen. I was beside myself. I mean, and I was exhausted. So, I found out it's an uncurated festival. I learned that word, uncurated. It's out of your control. That's what that means. Out of your control, Rebecca. Out of your control. So then I will give a plug for Matt Quinn. He said, take the lemon and make it lemonade. And I tell you, it makes me cry, but I was like, Getting There, the one at the Hudson with Rebecca O'Brien. Make sure you, so we're not supposed to talk loud. So sorry. But I really got to where I owned Getting There at the Hudson with Rebecca O'Brien because I wanted to make sure you didn't go to the wrong place, and I wanted to make sure my friends didn't go to the wrong place, and I made lemonade out of a lemon.
Yes, I love that. And what a great Fringe is such a safe. Yeah, no, honestly, I don't want to break up that applause. I don't want to break that up. But Fringe is a safe space to recognize your worth, because I know that is scary, especially as artists, right? We are just innately vulnerable, and sometimes that comes with a lack of self-worth because we're constantly having to push ourselves or put ourselves out there for work. But this is a safe space to own. You are all here because you have a story to tell, and it's a story the world needs to hear. So own that and feel confident in that because the rest of the community is going to help uplift that. So this is that place to be, own it. Yes. Rebecca O'Brien Getting There at the Hudson. Yes. Sorry, I yelled again, Haverty. Okay, so let's start marketing, y'all, because we are definitely in the marketing thick of it. How do you take advantage of the buzz that Fringe generates? We always say, but Fringe is marketing the festival as a whole, and then the individual show is marketing their show so that it stands out amongst, right? So how do you take advantage of the buzz that the Fringe is generating so that you stand out from the rest of the program?
Well, I had a shirt like her. I wear the shirt to every single office hours. So, can you hear me still? No. Now. Okay. so I had the shirt, but obviously being in the guide is helpful. I had a drink. What was it?
Sponsored drink.
Yeah, I don't know. I had Thug Passion one time. Something. Yeah,
it was good. I remember.
Yeah, we worked on that one together. We got it right. I had a drink. What else I'm trying to think. So the drink will be part of once the festival's up and going.
Yeah, so we do have on the marketing blog. So definitely check that out. HollywoodFringe.org artist marketing. But the sponsored drink is back for opening night. So we're not doing them. Last year we did them at Fringe Central. This year we have 3 available at auction for opening night. The auction closes on May 10th, I believe.
And then if you have themes that you could tie in. So Tupac is heavily featured in my show. So one of my shows was on his birthday night. So then I had that as a tie-in for people to come. But, just really go to everything. Like there's an industry night. I was exhausted. I have a 5-year-old. I live in the South Bay. I've come here for all the office hours on time, coming here for all the events. That was Sunday night. We'd had a long weekend. I said, I can't make it. I can't even see straight. And I said, nope, get in your car, go there, be a part of it. Met 2 journalists. One guy worked for LA Magazine. He said, give me 2 comps to your show. I'll come. Came to the show. He said, him and his wife talked to me after. We loved your show. He said, I'm going to give you a great write-up. And that was just because I pushed it and went there and had that conversation and forced myself. So you're going to be exhausted this whole time. Get over it. Like, see through the fog, drink, have snacks in your car. No matter how tired you are, tell yourself, I'm put the time, money, energy into this. I got to see it all the way through. Let me not half-ass at the end. You're in the home stretch. Work that ass off.
I want that on a T-shirt. You're on the home stretch. Work that ass off.
I would say Fringe is addicting. I've been doing it since 2015, and I come back every single year except for this year, but that's not my fault. That's fine. But I'm going to be a judge, so it's fine. It's addicting. Do stunts, right? And what I mean by that is show up in the T-shirt for your show. Show up in costume to other shows. Last year, I had to show up to every show that I was seeing dressed as my character because I had hair extensions and like the whole thing. And I was like, well, great. So people knew, oh, you're in that show. Yes, I am, right? We did a show the first year was 50 Shades of Shrew. And we all had T-shirts that had a corset. And then in the back, it was like, art thou curious? And so everywhere we went, we would go as a group, because it was an ensemble piece. So the entire cast would go see other people's shows together and take up like a whole front row or take up a section and be rooting for the show that we just saw. So show up in costume to other shows. Wear a T-shirt, wear a hat, wear whatever you got. What else was I going to say? I was just going to say something else about that, but now I don't remember. Yeah, it's really about branding, right? Just showing up constantly to things. I don't know what the heck I was going to say. If I remember it.
If you remember, you can grab it back. But
yeah, I'm just gonna add in a quick tip because costumes. It's also a great way if you are a little more socially anxious. Putting on a costume can help you put yourself out there. Put on that costume and that mask, and it allows you to be a little more confident.
And so speaking of branding, right, the more people see your branding, the more effective it is, just like anything with marketing. And how do people see more of your branding? By you showing up to more events, by you showing up to other people's shows, by you supporting more other, words. I don't speak in my terrible show, so the words are like new to me. Two words. So the more that you show up for other people, the more that they're going to show up for you.
And get their phone numbers. Exchange phone numbers. I mean, what? What's this? Higher on the thing. Get their phone numbers. I mean, I wore a dog in a bag but the dog is part of my show. She's not like a major player, but she's part of my show. So her picture and my picture were on the flyer, and so she's a really good dog. And so I'd be talking about my show, and then all of a sudden, I go, well, I'm my dog, and you see the dog, and they go, where's the dog? And I say, come on out, and she come on out. And that helped them remember me. I'll tell you that. So get to everybody in this section right after. In this section right after, Tony, he would not come to my show. I mean, I had 10 shows, and I kept saying, Tony, you're going to come to my show. I had come to his.
Let it go.
I did. But you know what? You know what? Tony came to my show. But, I mean, I playfully said, Tony, I know you're going to come to my show. I know you. Yeah, and maybe he could have not come to my show. But don't, like you said, don't get into the anger. Let it go. Don't hold any of it. Yeah, everybody's running a race. And make sure you don't leave the kettle on. I just want to.
Just in case.
Yes. All great advice. All right. So we've kind of, I think, covered the fringe audience. How, right, you get what you put in, y'all. It's like everything in life. You will get back what you put in. But how do we engage an audience outside of the fringe? And are there tricks for pulling in people that are not just your community?
I can only speak to like 2 people, but so because of the way that Hollywood Fringe structures their tickets, is it still 50% have to be sold through the website? Okay, so what that means is at least 50% of your tickets have to be sold through Hollywood Fringe, but that means 50% of your tickets can be sold from anywhere. So what I did I keep saying last year, God, it was so, it literally felt like last year. I did put a percentage of my tickets on like Gold Star, for instance, and 2 random people bought tickets. I don't know if they showed up, but that was 2 ticket sales for me. And there's just different things you can do to like do outreach. There's a Gold Star, and I'm sure there's other ticketing venues that you could use to really get the word out there. And like I feel like even Eventbrite, you could probably sell on Eventbrite. They'll probably take a very high cut, but I know that Eventbrite always like advertises like other shows. So like if you're interested in this, you might like this show. So make sure that whatever you're doing, your copy is descriptive. It describes something appealing that people would want to come see. I mean, just in general in life, you would want to do that. Yeah, that's basically my pragmatic advice.
Yeah. I just want to note here, yes, you're absolutely able to do 50% elsewhere on other platforms, but you must manage it yourself. Like, remember, you have to make sure your house is cut in half on the Fringe website so that you're not overselling. So I just want to name that, like, absolutely sell 50% of your tickets elsewhere if you want to, but you have to manage to make sure you don't oversell, because that'll make for a very angry venue and very angry audience.
Yeah, and just logistically, in the website, once you get into your account, there is a place where you say, like, how many tickets you want to sell on the Hollywood Fringe website. So, like, let's say you're in the Broadwater Black Box, which is 50 seats. You would just say, like, I want to put 10 tickets on Gold Star. You just remove 10. So then you put your number as 40. You only want to sell 40 from the HFF site, and then 10 you can do whatever you want with.
And on each individual performance.
Yes.
So each individual performance that says house capacity, and then you just can't go higher than the house capacity, because that would be a nightmare. So anything lower, you are absolutely able to edit yourself.
There's another site called Sold Out Crowd, which is another actual local theater artist, and you just reach out to him and he'll put your tickets on there. Of course, you're basically giving away comps, but what that does is sort of create this, oh, I didn't hear about that show. Oh, I didn't know about that. Oh, I'm going to go see that, right? And people will pay like $2 or $4. It's a subscription-based thing, however much they pay, but they're still coming to see your show, and I think that's the point. Nobody's making money at Fringe. I mean, maybe somebody is, but you're not. The point is to get your art seen. And so if you want your art seen, you kind of just gotta do that. If you're trying to make money,
You're in the wrong
you're
industry.
around place.
Industry,
Although,
arguably.
I will say what we typically do, because we have these large ensemble pieces, and that's another thing. I know there's probably a lot of solo shows in here, is my guess. Yeah, it's harder for solo shows. I know. Our ensembles are usually 16 people, so we've got people plugging the show. They're sending out emails. Send out emails. I know it's so passé. Send out emails to your friends and enemies, to everyone. I promise you, you just have to keep doing that. That's how I know about shows a lot of times, is people will send me an email. I'm like, oh, I didn't even know they were in a show. Not everybody looks at Facebook. Not everybody looks at the Instagrams. I avoid social media at all costs unless I'm doing a show and then I'm like, I got to do the Facebook. Right? And then I do it, and I have no choice, because that's how I have to market the show, and so many people are on those platforms. But I also send emails. Yes.
No, you go ahead.
I think that we should text our friends. I think we should tell our friends. I think we should email. I'm also contemplating doing Facebook advertising, because why the hell not?
Yeah, we did that.
And then, because none of it hurts. But I'm a very friendly person. I talk to strangers. If you're online at Starbucks, start a conversation.
You need to. Are you okay?
Now I need Face ID, I guess.
Are you okay, buddy?
Blink if you need help.
Like an impending earthquake.
Do something about this embarrassment. No, I don't want to use my cell data.
I totally agree with you. We had a guy in our show give our postcard to his Uber driver,
Yes.
and when Uber was like sharing, and you
Yeah.
can get like you could have like 4 people in an Uber. He
Yeah.
gave it to the other passengers, and they came and saw the show.
I believe it.
You
That's
have
beautiful.
no idea who will come see your show. Just give out the postcard. And what you are then doing is advertising Hollywood Fringe.
Correct.
And those people will go, when they walk down Santa Monica Boulevard and people walking down the street in June everywhere, it's kind of this momentous thing that you're just like, I didn't know Santa Monica was like this. I had no idea. Because everybody's on the street. Everybody is on the street. It's a big deal. So as much as you can, get the word out there. Like, talk about your show too much. Like, seriously, I promise you, it'll feel weird, and you're like, I can't believe I'm talking about my show again. Look, July 1st will be here soon enough, and then you won't ever have to talk about it again. But from now until June, the end of June, just talk about your show and give out those postcards. Drop them places. You go to dinner. Oh, look, there's a postcard. Wherever you're going, whatever you're doing, have a postcard, a business card, whatever it is, and just do the thing. I promise you. You'll be surprised who sees your postcards.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Do Q&As in there? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna say, yeah. I'll. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, we were gonna do it at the end, but we'll shift. Oh, meter change.
Meter change. Do we keep talking?
Yeah. Yeah. Please.
You might sell out, and when you start to sell out, you don't want to oversell your show. Okay, so back up, Rebecca. Okay, at the Hudson, you have to sell some of your tickets with On Stage 411. So you have to do the math, like Lois was saying, and you really have to do the math because you're required to sell some tickets there. And then you're required, of course, to sell some tickets with French. So do your math. And then the way I would go, oh, I may have 2 extra seats. That's the way I would reach out to French people. I think I only have 2 tickets left. I have 2 tickets left. And I would text people, and then I would actually get them there, and then I'd give up a ticket. Okay, so, you can actually work your situation when you start selling out. Don't let 5 seats go unused. Go ahead and send out a last-minute text. I do have 5 seats. I know I have 5 seats, and you'll get some French people. Also, I mean, everybody's saying, talk about your show. Talk about your show. I ended up getting interviewed by several, 3 interviews that I didn't know that these people had connections to interview me. Podcast, a newspaper, even Cedar Sinai did a thing on me. So, I mean, you don't know who can write a story. So talk about your show.
I was going to say target places that have themes that are similar to your show. And, offer a few comps there. Also, go to events that are happening, big events, and pass out your flyers at those events. So there's tons of people there. Talk to them, be friendly. Go to other shows that have nothing to do with Fringe and be waiting at the end and pass out your flyers. In terms of email, we've all been in acting classes or UCB or whatever things you've been in. Clump those together, the addresses, your contacts, and send emails out to them. And then in terms of text, I would always send a flyer in text and get yourself one short little quippy log line about your show that sounds intriguing and makes people want to know more. Don't say too much because people are turned off by too much. Men know this and women think like men. And that way, they don't want to hear a lot. They turn off after a little while. Get in and get out with your message.
Yeah, no, that elevator pitch is key, y'all. Because we harp on it, but it really is true. The postcard hand with conversation, that person is much more likely to come to your show. There's investment, as opposed to if you flyer like this, they're not necessarily going to be. You might get a few, but that is far less dependable than, hi, Bonnie, I would really like you to come see my show. It's about, forest rangers and hippopotamuses. Whatever
That
it is.
sounds
That's an
amazing.
awful show.
I love it.
I don't know.
But
That's where we went. But it like make those connections even in the marketing. It doesn't have to be your best fringe pal. It could be the person you're standing in line to get coffee with.
also just like be polite.
Oh, yes.
I will say it is like a social learning. I'm not good with words today. But like if you're, I remember like there's when I was doing office hours one time and a guy was on his way out and he's like, "Hey, can I just talk about my show?" We're like, "Yeah, of course." And he just like ran his pitch and then left. Didn't ask us about us. And then you know what we do with postcard? We're like, "Thank you." Yeah. Like just the way I always approach it is just ask someone about themselves first. And then of course, like then you start meeting another person who like knows the same advice. Is like, "No, you go first. You tell me about your show first." And it becomes like a chicken and egg situation.
Yeah, the politeness war.
But that's like the best situation, right? Because they know at some point they're going to talk about this show and get so nervous that they've talked too much. So they're going to be like, no, now it's your turn. Please tell me about your show. But those are the people that you want to like connect with over and over again because they are going to be the most supportive people for your own show.
And try to memorize somebody else's pitch. Oh, you're the one who got a divorce and you were at a job where, you learn their pitches. Learn their pitches. So, that's your listening skills, and it's good for you.
Quality over quantity. Remember that, y'all. I mean, in general, right? I teach high schoolers and they're young theater kids, but it's like start to practice that early because that's how you end up with a career. It's the people you meet that give you your career, right? Most of us are not lucky enough to just make it on talent alone, and it's about who you know. Okay, I'm gonna walk around with questions, y'all. So if you have a question, let's stick it to like what we've already talked about because we have so many other subjects that we want to get to. But please, I'm gonna go right to left. Tell us your name and what show you're bringing. Start marketing now.
Hi, my name is Lily Abokratzley. I'm producing my solo show. It's called The Fairy Who Cried Gems. It's a collection of whimsical folk tales about the experience of growing up in America as a South Asian woman. It's got a lot of heart. It's sort of an oral history of Indian American girlhood. First, just related to that, I wanted to say it's really, it feels really empowering right now to have a panel full of sort of femme-presenting folks who have had all this accomplishment at Fringe and won awards, and I think that's really encouraging because a certain anxiety I have going into this summer is worrying about doing an identity-based piece and how that will be received. Sorry, it's a bit of a long question. Last year I did a workshop of my show and it was in a very safe community. It was at my undergraduate university and about 75% of my audience was South Asian women. And so I have some sort of anxiety and fear about bringing this into into a bigger audience, a broader audience. And the question I have is really opening yourself up to critique from folks who may not necessarily understand what you're doing and what you're getting at and where you come from in your background. How do you keep your head held high with those sort of critiques? So I guess it's really an emotional question. How can we take care of ourselves and make sure?
Can I ask you so who is critiquing? Is it your friends, family, or is the audience? Like what?
The audience.
The audience? The review.
I'm saying reviews and in general in the community, fear about, if you don't receive that support back, like how do you keep your head high and keep moving with the story?
I can't only speak for myself, but I don't think you have to worry about that at this community. This community is very, very supportive. So that being said, if you really want genuine feedback, you're not going to get it from like random people. Like you need to get that from like your close friends, and because they're going to give you like the honest feedback of what you need to like, let's say, improve upon. If it's a genuine critique to make your show better. But overall, no one's going to come after you at this festival. At least I hope not.
No, because everyone is curious and we all want to know about everybody and their background and their cultures and your own unique perspective on that only you can bring. Even if you had a twin, she wouldn't have the same story that you had. So, and
everybody wants to win the award, so no one's going to say shit.
Also, don't get caught up in the awards either. It's nice if it comes, but it's not. You doing this and getting it on its feet and having people come see it is the cherry on the cake. And anything else is like, oh, now it's unicorn rainbows coming out my butt. But don't go into it worried about the awards. Like that should be. I was shocked that I won, like genuinely shocked because I didn't even think that I had a chance. So, yeah.
But I campaigned.
I I totally thought there's no way I can win best solo show, and I put myself in the category of comedy. And then my director said, "Well, why are you in comedy? You're a solo show. Shouldn't you be in solo show?" And I went, "Well, I think there are less people in comedy, and I am funny." So he said, it's a tour de force show. You got to be in solo show. And I never, Lois even said at one of the workshops, choose a goal. Choose 2 out of 4. And my goal was not to make money, but I wanted good reviews. I wanted good press. And what were the 4? Okay, one's awards.
Awards, brand, like getting your show out there, getting that toolkit of like reviews and I
wanted a killer show.
Yeah,
Hello, Rebecca. I wanted a killer show, and I wanted good press. And I got what I wanted and more. So let it go. That song, Let It Go.
Yeah.
But this community is honestly one of the most amazing supportive communities you'll ever be a part of, which is why us insane people keep coming back for more. Truly, like, you will meet other amazing like-minded people that you will really enjoy being around. You will get a lot of support. So I really think that you have nothing to worry about. And if you do, you can talk to any of us. We'll kick their butts.
We have a strict code of conduct for a reason. So genuinely, if anything, and I feel the same, like it really is a safe space. That's why I am still here, is I was like, oh, this is different than the rest of the world, and I feel safe in this space. But know that we do have a code of conduct. So if a review touches on something that breaks our community ethos and code of conduct, we are here to make sure that is taken down to help protect and keep that safe space that you deserve as an artist. So know that is a secondary layer of protection. And at the end of the day, your experience is yours. Thank you for sharing it with the world and allowing someone to find out something they didn't already know. And whatever their opinion is, none of your business. Your art is going to be amazing on its own, But that's a great question.
Should hold it from here, right? The top? Okay. Just making sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Christopher Moncayo Torres. I'm doing a solo-ish show called Hablas y Te Salvas, stories of a No Sabo kid and his Guayaco dad. It's got my dad in it. That's why it's a solo-ish show. My dad's not an actor, performer, but he's turning 80, and I wanted to do something with him. Thank you. Cool. I hope he feels the same. So my question is, if you could speak to your first-time fringer self, what would you tell them? Like, what would you have wanted them to know now that you know? Sorry.
Don't panic. The first time I did Fringe, I wasn't in the show, but I produced it, and I was the fight choreographer. And the whole time I was a nervous wreck. I just didn't sleep. I was stressed out. I was like, oh my God, that actor this, and this happened, and that happened. And at the end of it, it was fine. That's theater. If you don't have theater anxiety or the theater, oh my God, it's not going to happen. It's not going to work. Oh my God, it's terrible. It's this, it's that. I mean, I had that where I was like, oh my God, is this show good? I don't know. Does it suck? It might suck. Oh, crap. Oh, no. What am I doing? This is going to be embarrassing. Oh, no, this show is really good. Right? You're going to go through all of that, and it's because you don't have perspective. You've got too many things going on. You all have too many things going on, and now we're saying, but go do the thing and do this and do that, right? And we're like adding more stuff. There's a ton of pressure. There's a ton of stress. And at the end of the day, you're going to do the show. It's going to be fine. People are going to come. You're going to sell tickets. You're going to get reviews. They're going to be good. They're going to be bad. Maybe they're going to be mixed. Maybe they're going to be perfect. Don't stress. And I know that's really easy to say, saying that now in 2024. Don't stress. Don't stress. Guys, don't sweat the small stuff. And it's all small stuff. I promise you. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of your life. It's going to be stressful. Breathe through it. Calm yourself. You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. Every single one of you will be fine. Your shows will all be great. You will get audience. There's going to be little mess ups here and there. It happens. It's live theater. It's live theater. That's just the way it is. don't stress.
That's good advice. I hope you don't mind. I feel like as a person of color, speaking to another person of color, I would say that the biggest advice I would give to you and probably my former self is do not be afraid to ask for help. That is something I feel like most people struggle with, but especially people of color, because we're like, no, we can't ask for help. That's seen as weakness. There are so many people willing to help you. When I did my solo show, it was just me at first, completely. And then I felt good because I got an early start. I found out that I got the diversity scholarship in March. So I was like, yeah, March, this is it. I'm going to start now. The festival's 3 months away. The closer I got to the festival, the more I felt I was falling further and further behind and all of the deadlines I had to meet and all the things I had to do. And it was very, very stressful. And one night I was like, hey, I have a producer friend, and I was just like, can I just pay you for like 10 hours of your time just to help you get things on the ball? And he refused to take any money from me. He was like, no, I just want to be a part of this. And so ever since then, I've been co-producing this show, and that's how we got to Edinburgh, sold it out. Now I'm touring. Like, people are so willing to help. When I was desperate for box office, like, I just reached out to the community. I was like, I don't have anyone for box office tonight. Is there anyone that can do it? And people helped out. I did eventually pay like all my box office people because I hate owing money, and I think that is another person of color thing. But but please, like, if you feel like you can't do it you're alone, you don't have to. You absolutely do not have to. People are so willing to help you out. So please don't be afraid to ask for help.
So I'm going to say, remember to have fun.
Ooh.
That's what we're here for. That's why we're doing this. These are our childhood dreams that we're doing in adulthood because we want to have fun. And when we did it young and played, it was fun. So remember to make it fun. Now, I will say I had a coach working with me, and like up to the final week, it was still not all the way complete. And and it got to the point where she started saying, oh, you're a gamer. You're a gamer. When the show actually happens that night, you're going to be on. And I was like, yep, that's me. And then I was like, is that me? I don't know that I'm a gamer. And I didn't know until opening night that I was a gamer. So, be easy on yourself, but ultimately have fun.
Ignorance was bliss for me. I had no clue what I was doing. And I have produced before. And when Lois said, Fringe is different than, Ellen and Lois were saying, Fringe is different than producing on your own. And I sat there and went, no, not for me. I knew exactly what I'm doing. And then I went, this is a whole thing. This is, there's a lot to this Fringe. Ooh, yeah, okay. Put it here. So, I didn't know how I was going to pay for my show. I just wanted to do Fringe. A friend was going to pay for my show. Then something came up where she couldn't pay for my show. And she said, and I had started telling people, and she said, do a GoFundMe. So I went ahead and did my GoFundMe. And then a week into the GoFundMe, I was so depressed because nobody had given a single thing to my GoFundMe. And then I said, well, Rebecca, you have to tell some people that you've created a GoFundMe. I mean, nobody knows you have a GoFundMe. I mean, I hadn't told a soul. So, I realized how funny that is now. But I was scared. I was shaking in my boots. Write lists. When you get out of the bathtub, have a notepad. Just what has ever come in your head, put it at the top. If something is burning in your head, get it at the top of the list. Not everything's on the list is going to happen. You're not going to get everything done on your list. The thing that's nagging you right before you go to bed, put it at the top of the list and circle it a couple of times. And you know what? Breathe. And you know what? No matter how many people come to your show, you're going to be so proud of yourself. You're going to go, I did it. I did this Fringe show. I did it. And if you are all by yourself, it's going to work out.
Great advice, y'all. Right here. And then, okay, let's try to keep it a little shorter, Pam. You're so brilliant. I don't want to cut you off, but we are running a little bit low on time.
Hi, my name is Janya, and my show is titled Convenience, and it's a solo show exploring mental illness in the life of a South Asian woman. Okay, so my question is, have you intently approached members of the press, people, journalists, and if so, then what were your experiences doing so, and how did you deal with, something negative or something positive, and how did you like cope with something positive?
Well, Fringe should have a press list of some sort in the marketing packet. So you want to send out a press kit for sure. Make sure you're sending that out. And there's ways to get bigger press kits. I am happy to share my press kit with anybody who wants it.
Ooh.
Guys, it's a press kit. It's a press list. Everybody should have one. I'm from Chicago, and in Chicago we all shared the press list. I don't know why that's not a thing here. Who cares? We all know who the press is. So why aren't we just emailing them? What is the big deal? So I'm happy to give. I don't care. Make sure you're sending out. So what is it? Maybe 2 months before Fringe, when tickets go on sale, opening, you want to keep sending out press kits or press releases. Send them out. Send them out, because reviewers will come to your previews. They will come to your previews. I've noticed in the last few years that press is actually harder and harder to get because they're sort of dying out a little bit. So it is competitive in terms of trying to get press. You have got to send out a press release. Tag them on the socials. Do whatever you can. If you get a great review, put it somewhere. Put it on your Facebook page. Send it in an email. Post it on all of your social media. If you get a bad review, do the same thing. Because who cares? Pick whatever. This person didn't like my show. Why don't you come and see it and make your own judgment? Right?
I've seen great campaigns with that exact methodology.
You can turn it around. It's Fringe, and that is what Fringe is about, being fringy. Right? Going against the norm, because it's Fringe. Do we all understand that? So do what's right for you. But you've got to get the press out there. If you're really, truly embarrassed by a review, then bury it. And there's a way on the Fringe site that you can say, it'll say, was this review helpful? And you can say no. And it will go all the way We'll go all the way to the end. And you just keep doing that. And was this review helpful? That was oh my God, this person's amazing. Yes, 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 right? And you just keep raising up the good reviews and getting rid of the bad reviews.
Yes. I'm actually going to step in, y'all. Sorry, just so we have time to get to the important questions, because I was about to start talking about press and industry. So we're going to have more time for questions at the end, I promise. But I want to get to the really meaty stuff that I'm sure everyone is I came here to find out about how to get press. So let's keep on this track. So press, yes, you're not wrong. It is a dying breed. Literally. There's a lot more than just theater press. I want to remind everyone in this room, there are so many blogs and influencers is what the kids call them, right? But there are so many avenues to get press that is just not your LA Times article. So don't get stuck in a box with press. What is it? If your show is about food, reach out to food blogs. They still have an audience. They still have people. Just because their audience is going to their blog to read about food, it doesn't mean they don't like theater and wouldn't be interested in your show. So think outside of the box. But let's talk about all y'all's press strategies. How did you successfully get someone from the press or the industry to review your show? What were your tactics?
I was very new to Fringe festivals in general, so I actually hired a publicist, and there are a few publicists around for Hollywood Fringe. So I got I think a podcast, and a few articles here and there. But I will say, at the end of the day, the people that actually came to review me are people that I reached out to personally. So I think it was a combination of my publicist reaching out to them, but also I happened to know them and also reached out. So unfortunately, it is a lot of legwork that you have to do yourself, but you're already here, so I can just tell that you're already the type of people that are going to do that.
And that will go on beyond Fringe, right? You're doing the legwork for later, too. Later you is now going to have these relationships already built, so it's not just for the show.
I've done a whole lot of theater back in the day, been here a long time. But I did hire a publicist that had done a great job for a show that I had been in, and I was like, oh, he got the LA Times. I'm going to hire him because I remembered he did a great job. But it's exactly what she just said. I had relationships that I wasn't even aware of. I wasn't aware that certain people were reviewing that I knew. So, yeah, and exactly what she said. I'm repeating myself.
That's fine. Yeah, I appreciate you. Yeah, and use the resources on the participant packet, y'all. HollywoodFringe.org/participants. That's going to point you in the right direction if all that we're talking about here is making no sense. That's going to give you like that template for a press release, some places to start reaching out to.
And go to the industry night, because I met the LA Weekly magazine, LA magazine guy, and he said, pitch your show. And I had only done it like 500 times, so I was ready. And I had just done my show, and I was exhausted, and I made sure I went over there.
Yes, 100% come to our event. So y'all, /Central on the Fringe website. That's going to have a list. We will send out more information about those event logistics soon, but save those dates, because our whole goal, like I said, we're not going to necessarily get your show in LA Times, but we are going to try to put you in front of the right people. And then it's your job. The industry nights every Thursday in June at Fringe Central, I believe there's one in May as well, are going to be industry and press nights. So some of them are going to be panels where people will talk at you and give you industry advice on how to start to think about your show in a professional way. Then there's going to be some like mixers where you get to have that one-on-one time with different members of the press and industry. So come to those and have that FaceTime.
Up their game. Wasn't like that last year.
We have, it's true. We're always trying to grow, y'all. We also had a weekend spot, so we were very limited in those still like COVID weird times. Okay, let's move into Fringe audience reviews, because I would argue these are equally important and a lot easier to count on. So you have the press, right? That's going to be your articles, your blogs, your outside source articles. Those sometimes end up as reviews on the site, but you can't necessarily count on the LA Times logging into the Hollywood Fringe and creating a user account just to review the show. It's not going to happen. But with the reviews, that is where every audience, anyone who's seen your show, can submit a certified review. That is still gold for your show. Putting that pull quote on your postcard the next time you do the show, or using it on your social media, using it throughout your run to kind of revamp your marketing strategy. So, panel, how did you go about garnering Fringe reviews? Ready.
I looked on the previous Hollywood Fringe Festival pages and saw who were friends of Hollywood Fringe and emailed them and said, will you please come to my show? And I went on the page and saw who were all, asked them to come to the show. Oh. I went on the Hollywood Fringe Festival Facebook pages and saw all the people who followed the page, and then I personally emailed them and asked them to come see my show. And I had several reviews from those people that I don't know at all. Just emailed them and was friendly in the email, and then they were friendly back, and then they came and saw the show. And I don't even know if I asked them to leave reviews, and they left reviews.
I would say one at the end of every show, please don't forget to ask for reviews, because that's the last thing the audience leaves with. And for my strategy, I just made sure that I went to go see a lot of shows and I left reviews. And not only did I leave reviews on those shows, I would personally message those people to be like, hey, just so you know, I left the review on your show. So then they have that locked in their mind. And then yeah, well, you're just guilt tripping them a little. It's like, come on. So when they come to see your show, they're gonna leave a review, and then you just remind people, just in general.
Yeah. Hey, gosh darn, I know you love the show. Could you put it in writing?
Yeah. Yeah, and know the Fringe will, so we send out auto emails after your show. It's technically, I think, 5 minutes after your show starts. The Hollywood Fringe will send out an email to your entire audience for that night and say, hey, make sure you leave a review. The review really helps the show go to the next level, will help them, get audience in the future. So we do that push, but that is not personal. They do not know Hollywood Fringe. It is so important to additionally give them that reason to, because most people do. Almost everyone, and I will say it is so, we have the nicest audience. It is so rare that I see a truly awful review. 9 times out of 10, they are just glowing. And you're going to have too many sentences that you're going to want to pull from these reviews. So know that they are really good reviews.
Also, on the Hollywood Fringe,
We'll come around in a little bit with questions.
on the Hollywood Fringe site, go and look at past shows and see the names of people on there, because you can email those people because they're on the site. So, and I also looked at reviews where people were positive reviewers. I went on Body's site. I was like, oh, they gave her a great review. Let me ask them to come.
Yes, do your research, y'all.
And get testimonials. I mean, when you get your show filmed, I did film several times. Go ahead and have people stand. I did a kind of a meet and greet with everybody that came to my show, and I also asked for testimonials. And Haverty, I'll plug him. You can hire Haverty.
I just sat outside the door as they exited and didn't let them leave until they gave me a testimony. I was like, what are you doing?
And you could just do it on your phone. It doesn't have to be super professional. Like, as long as you capture it, like, that counts as a positive review.
Yeah, no, 100%. And okay, so with that, let's jump in a little bit to awards. I think we already kind of touched on like what your approach was, but did we want to add anything to what your approach going into awards was, if it was an approach at all? Because we always say awards don't matter, fuck it. But we all know that sometimes it matters. So for some people, it matters rather. So do y'all have anything to share as far as your awards tactics?
No, I did nothing. It was overwhelming the day that you needed to go in there and write to every single one of those awards. But I read them individually and I went, is this realistic that you even have a shot? Yes. And if I did, I made myself do the work and submit myself. And as for the rest of it, just try to, go to see shows and treat other people like treated.
I think I answered it earlier, so I won't take the time.
Yeah, no, I love it. No, and that's so good. I want to name, like, with the awards one, is because I think we'll talk about this more, but I really want to hit it over the head. Like, when you're emailing, right, it is a big day. You're emailing all of these people, and self-awareness we know is key. It's so good to have self-awareness, because I will note, especially with these industry awards, the Arts, like Discover Fringe industry program, these awards are given out by fully established venues or fully established festivals. And so they are not only looking for a talented group of artists. They're not looking for just an amazing show, but a producer they're going to want to work with. And so when you're emailing these award presenters, asking them to see your show, it is very blatant when you've copy pasted that from the other award, because you see, and all it takes is a close edit, right? You don't have to make a single email for each one, but if you forget to change out the name of the award or change out the name, and I know it's so small, and I know we're all stressed, and it happens to me. I'm sure one of you this week has gotten an email from me with something not formatted right, because I'm in guide hell, but it really matters. but it does matter when you're asking for something, when you're asking for an opportunity. And I see it. I work with the Exchange Awards closely. I'm working with the other festivals to present these opportunities, and they notice. I don't know that I want to work with that producer, because I'm going to have a hard time making sure they're selling tickets. They clearly aren't ready for that opportunity. So keep that in mind. We'll come back to questions in a little bit, I promise.
Just adding one point, just make sure you're also just realistically in the right category. And sometimes it can be hard because your show can fall into 2 different categories. And just really think about, so for instance, my show, A Terrible Show for Terrible People, was a physical comedy show. I only said 2 words, and there's a category for comedy and there's a category for physical theater and dance. And so some of the advice I was given was like, I should probably put myself in the physical theater and dance because there's less competition. And to be fair, that year there was only 2 people in that category, so one person you got a 50% chance of winning. But I thought about the longevity of my show. I thought about like where I wanted it to go, and I was like, for all intents and purposes, maybe if I go like abroad, physical theater might mean more to a UK audience, but physical theater doesn't mean as much to an American audience for what I'm trying to sell. because at the end of the day, my show is a comedy. It's like Mr. Bean, right? If I was a sexy Asian lady.
Elevator pitch.
Elevator pitch, yeah. So I was like, it's probably easier to win an award if I'm in physical theater and dance, but I would rather potentially try to go for just a nomination in comedy because I feel like that would make more sense. So just go with what is actually accurate, I think is my just one word of advice.
And build your brand, right? I think now's the time. I think you've put this beautiful show together. Now's the time to start to think about what's next and what you want to do with that show. And some of that is going to be branding. So if you're thinking about awards, it's going to be important for you to Best Comedy made so much more sense when you went abroad and took that show. You were able to connect that award to really have it sell your show. And so start to think about what's next, because that's what we're supposed to do in our careers, right? Right now matters only so much.
Also say that it's also okay if you don't want to think about what's next. Like if you just want to focus on this one show because everything else is overwhelming. I didn't debut my show at Hollywood Fringe. I debuted it 2 years prior. And when I debuted it, I had no expectations. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I just want to debut it because I want to say that I've accomplished something. I produced something on my own. And that itself is an award. So it's okay if you can't think beyond the Hollywood Fringe because this is very overwhelming. So you are all fine.
And it'll all fall into place. More opportunities will come.
Yeah. No, and that's such a good point, right? Because you can be at a different place with your show, and it brings me to my next question, which is goals and setting expectations. Rebecca is absolutely right. We always say, and there's 1,000 goals, right? There's so many different goals you could have with your show. It could be just to see it on its feet, to test out its artistic merit and see what it looks like now that you've written the show, and see what it sounds like when other people say the words you've written. Or it could be to just start to build your artistic community. You're an LA artist that doesn't have a lot of LA artist friends. You're going to put up your piece that you don't really care how it goes, but you want to meet other people who, do art in LA. Or it could be, I'm ready to take my show on tour in the UK and I need to build a brand here so that I can sell it. There are so many different goals you can have. So would you please talk about your goals and how you met them?
So I had I don't remember actually what my goals were for Hollywood Fringe, but I would say that the one piece of advice I can give is that at some point I started getting really overwhelmed, right? Because there's so much stuff to do. And one day I sat myself down and I was like, you know what? I'm going to treat this as a learning experience. It doesn't matter what the end goal is. It only matters that by the time I reached the end of the festival, I would have learned so much more. Because I remember being overwhelmed and I was like, I stopped and asked myself a question. I was like, is this the only Fringe festival you plan to do? And I was like, no, I'm going to probably do more. And I was like, right. So at the next Fringe festival that I'm doing, am I going to learn more and have an easier time than I did this Fringe festival? And if the answer is yes, then you just have to keep going on that path.
Yeah, my goal was to have a completed piece. Yes, that was my only goal. And I was so happy that they gave us the time constraints of 60 minutes because I hadn't given myself any time constraints and I just had so much written. And it was just how will this ever be less than a 2-hour show, And who wants to see a solo show for 2 hours? Nobody. So having the 60-minute time constraint was wonderful. And then I always wanted to perform it in my hometown, which is Oakland, Bay Area, the Marsh Theater, which is prestigious there. And then I hit them up after and I was able to say, I got this. And I'd been keeping a relationship with them over the years just to, when I have something. And before it's kind of not really any response. And now I'm I was at Hollywood Fringe, Best Musical, Oh, let's talk. Oh, do you have tape? Because I had a friend come and film it. I got every night filmed. If you have somebody that can do that for you, because having it on tape is, currency. And so chose the best tape, sent it to her on Facebook, but private because I didn't, I'm trying to make money off of this eventually. So I'm not just sharing it. So sent it to her. She said, lovely. When can you come? I went there, did a 5-week run, sold out shows, standing O's every night, right up in the press, tons of write-ups. And then they asked me to come back and do an extension because it was that popular. And she emails me every 3 weeks now. So when are you coming back? When are you coming back? When are you coming back? And, made money doing that. So, yeah. So, and now it's going to go to Paris and it's going to go to New York. So I think if you just keep your one goal small, it keeps you from being overwhelmed. And if you make it small and make it good, it can have a life after.
That's amazing. I'm so excited for you. But the one note is you're not limited to 60 minutes. That was it was a scholarship show where we had 60-minute limitations, and I just don't want to scare anyone who's like, "Fuck me, I have a 90-minute show and it's already on the website." So you're good. You're good. Yeah, but it's a good chance though to cut down your 3-hour musical. You know.
Our shows are all 90 minutes. I don't know, the goal, it's me and my husband are a 2-person collaborative theater company. Our goal is to get our artistic jollies off. That's it, right? What's the biggest fight we can put on stage? Great, I'll do that. I'm sorry, what are we using? Spears? Okay, cool. Oh, we're doing what? What kind of okay. That is it.
Yeah, and
It's purely selfish.
And that can be your goal, right? And
That's
I think,
my
yeah,
goal.
and I don't want to scare anyone by saying pick your goals. Your goal doesn't have to be a huge career move. It can just be, I want to make like 2 new friends. I want to meet 2 people in the theater community. I'm going to be able to like share scripts with in the future, or just have somebody to go see shows with. Your goal doesn't have to be huge, but I think it does help focus and make you less stressed, like you said, to have something in mind. And that way, because, when you're feeling like, I'm accomplishing that. Oh my God, I made, a friend at office hours, and we've chatted twice this week. I think I'm meeting my goal. It just gives you that sense of peace that you're working towards something.
Maybe your goal is to be on stage all by yourself talking for 60 minutes.
Yeah.
That's a goal.
And a huge accomplishment. A huge accomplishment. I love an oopsie daisies, and we kind of already touched on this with like, what do you wish your first time Fringer knew? But I'm just such a big, because it's so important to share all of the best things you can do, all of the good advice, right? But I also, the vulnerability in sharing, like, I fucked up. This is something I did, and I want to name it out loud so that nobody else goes through the waste of money or waste of time. So does anyone have a oopsie daisies they'd be willing to share?
I got one. Of course I have one. Okay, so, you get a little cocky after, maybe the 8th show. It was a nice show, something like that. And I was like, I'm totally fine in timing of getting to the theater. And I had a ritual. I didn't want to pay for parking. I hate to pay for parking, especially if I'm doing a show. So I had a place where I always parked. Oh, that's gone. Okay. So I'm looking for parking, and I'm like, oh my God, the show's going to start. And I was determined not to pay for parking. So I didn't pay for parking, people, and I arrived to the show 2 minutes before 8 o'clock. The entire line, it's a sold-out show. They're all there, and I run in, and of course, my lighting sound guy who's like, oh, I'm glad you could make it. I didn't want to pay for parking. So you know what? Maybe pay for parking. I would tell you that. But I will say that was one of my favorite shows, because it was like I ran in, and the beginning of my show is I'm running on stage, and there's a bus behind me, and I'm trying to catch the bus. And so I used it, and it was all great. And there you go.
So now I'm going to get emails from venues after the first week of previews going, why are all the artists showing up 2 minutes before their show starts, claiming this adrenaline rush?
I should have paid for parking that night. Okay? I'll say it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess this is an oopsie. So I invited somebody who's in the industry, like been on shows and stuff, and I said for the first or second show, no late seating. I probably said that for the second show, because the first show, a friend of mine came in half hour late, and the stage was in the back. So she had to come through the stage, and she had her daughter with her. But it didn't throw me. So I guess you have to know if things will throw you or not. So it didn't throw me, but just because I felt like the rest of the audience got disrupted, I said, oh, no late seating the next time. So this industry guy had invited for the next time, and he got there late, and he didn't get to come in. And he went off on me. I came all the way here. I looked for parking. I didn't get to see your show. And I was super apologetic to him. And if, friendly again, I don't know that I'll invite him to another show, because I'm sure he probably won't come. But somebody else who was habitually late also came late that night, and I was happy she didn't get it in. That shows you. We're always coming late to stuff. And then she tried to make it up to me all night. So I don't know. I just would maybe say allow late seating.
If your venue does, check with your venue before.
Speaking of industry people not being able to get in, that reminds me. So when you have a show, you should probably set aside a couple of tickets for industry people to come, either industry or press. If they're through the Hollywood Fringe system, they'll send you like a little message, and it's like for a press ticket. Because for my first show, for my preview, I think I had sold out, and then only after I had sold out, like I got a message from someone saying like, "Oh, I'm here to review for this like award or whatever it was," and I was like, "No, I'm so sorry, you can't come." And he's like, "But this is the only day I can come." I'm like, "I don't know, I don't know what to do about it."
Sorry, man.
But I will say that on that note, you should also allow, like, keep a wait list for yourself, because it's LA. People flake. You want to turn away an industry person. So he ended up coming anyway, and then he was able to get in because a few people didn't show up. So that was like my lucky grace. But yeah, definitely make sure you keep aside a couple tickets for like industry, or definitely have a wait list. That would be my advice.
And maybe this was covered in the ticketing workshop, but make sure that on the website where it says ticket shut-off time is not like 3 hours before the show, because what that tells people is that, oh, I can't buy tickets. They're going to think it's sold out. Yeah. You want to make sure that maybe that ticket shut-off time is a half an hour before show, or whatever you can print out. Everything now is on the phone. What we were doing before was we had to print out the little sheet and bring it with us and give it to the box office person, and then you would just stopped selling tickets, and then people would have to pay cash. A lot of people are putting Venmo now up, the little QR code. But don't turn off your ticket sales that early.
I have a counter.
Yeah, I mean, what I was doing was like, I was just leaving the ticket sales open, and I had an iPad out, and with the QR code, and I'd be like, and if people wanted to buy tickets at the box office, I'd be like, oh, well, here, just you can either use our iPad, or you can just do the QR code and buy the ticket right now. So be aware of that, because people will think your show is totally sold out if it says no tickets available, and that's what it will say.
And have some change.
Have
Change for people who pay cash.
Oh wait, Chris, sorry. Could I quickly say like a counter to that? Unless you want in
I just don't want to forget. Okay, so you buy ads. You buy ads, and on your ad, you can change your ad. You're going to get crafty and learn how to make your own flyers. Put on there 2 seats available, or waiting list. I got a waiting list at the door. Put it out on the ads and buy ads.
Okay, so this is the counter to the 3-hour thing.
You change your ad in real time for that night?
I got to where I changed my own ads.
You're talking about the digital ad, right?
And you can change the title. It doesn't have to it doesn't have to be the entire postcard. You know how you have the option for a title on your impressions? You can change your title, so it can be in real time. Yep.
Okay it?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's the ad itself we have to okay to make sure there's not pornography or. Like.
But I changed my ads quite a lot.
Can't hear you.
This is if you buy those ads. Yeah, buy the ads.
Okay, so
Do buy
things might have changed since for last year and maybe this year, but I actually set my ticket to not sell any more tickets at 3 hours. That was a specific decision by me, because the way that the printout worked when you get your will call is that it's an alphabetical order by last name, and for me, I found that inconvenient. Like, I needed all my stuff by first name, and because I'm extra, like because I was mostly producing like myself and like my producing partner, who was just like helping me with more of like the digital stuff and the like the creative, the posters and stuff. So I personally had to have my things set to stop selling tickets after before 3 hours before the show, because I would then print out the whole will call list, put it into an Excel sheet, arrange it by alphabetical order, find who the press and industry were, set them at the very top so they would easily be scannable, and then make a little checklist. So I knew who exactly was coming into the show every single day. Obviously, you can do that with an iPad, but I didn't have a spare iPad that I could just give to the front of house to do that. So that's why I did that. And then I would have to like make sure I drove there, to the theater in time to get all set up. So that's the reason I chose to actually cut my ticket sales off 3 hours early. But I still then would have Venmo at the front, so I would allow walk-ups. And again, waitlist, right? Because some of my shows were, most of my shows were sold out. And the people always flake out. So if you have a waitlist, people that really want to come see your show can just show up and then they might get in. Most likely they'll get in.
And speaking of flaking, I just have to remember, like we've been talking about it a lot, but be a good community member, be a good audience member. It is so much more often that somebody who has gotten a free ticket will flake. Don't be that person. Because that ticket is not free. It might be free to you. It might be a comped ticket for you, but that seat is not free. The artist is not able to sell that when they give you a comp. So please be courteous in that, because if it's a last minute flake, the artist can't resell that ticket.
I'm going to plug Zeke at the Hudson because they do that whole list for you, which I found very beneficial.
I would also add that unless you're doing a comp swap, this is just my experience. My advice to take it. Unless you're doing a comp swap with another artist, I would actually not do comps.
Okay, now everyone's giving advice.
Wait, why does
you if you hold it on the base? It's where the receiver's at.
Oh, this is where the receiver's
That's
at?
where it's at. Yeah, it's cheap.
Oh wow. Okay. I was like, okay.
We just needed the why, but then
Sorry.
we can follow the rules. The why.
So yeah, exactly the why. So I was saying, unless you're doing a comp swap with another artist, I would say don't do comps in general. Don't do free tickets because people don't value something that's free. Even if you let them pay $1, the fact that they had to pay $1, they will more likely show up. So that would just be again just personal advice.
It's statistics.
It's true. Always charge something. Always charge. Let them think they're getting a discount rather than getting in for free. Oh, these tickets they're $15, but you're gonna get in for $5, right? Just industry is industry, right? But and press is press. But for general Joe Blow, no, you're not getting in for free.
Oh, also, I charged less than a lot of people did because I wanted to pack my houses. Like some people were charging because they were trying to make money off of this, I think. So it's like you're charging so much, but if you charge a little less, more people will be inclined to. If somebody's charging $12.50 and you charge 10, or somebody's charging 20 and you charge 12, it's beneficial.
Well, there's a trick to that. I charge a higher rate for people who are not part of Fringe. So if you are Joe Public, you're paying $20 a ticket or $25 a ticket. If you are a Fringe participant, you're paying $15 or $12.
Or 7.
Yeah. So I when you go into the website, and that's why it's really important to make sure your participants, the people in your show, are on your website, because then they get the discount. If you don't add people as artists on your Fringe site, your team, then they will not get the participant discount. They won't get the button. They won't get any of that because they are not a Fringe member. So you have to make sure to do that. And so anybody who was like my friends, whatever, rich friends, people in the industry, that you're paying $25. I don't care. It's 90 minutes. You're seeing fights. You're seeing drama. You're seeing live music. You're paying $25. I don't care. You know how much theater is now. For Fringe, everybody was 15 or 10 or 5, depending, right? I always had discounts for people, but Fringe participants never paid more than 15.
That's great advice. And I think I want to speak to the cutoff time again, just so you know that is not on the guide, which means that can change. Your Fringe cutoff time can change in real time if you want to. And just know it's automatically set at 3 hours. So if you want to change, you go in to each individual performance. So you hit schedule. So when you're in your admin tab, hit it's visual in my head. That's what I'm pointing at, by the way. So admin, schedule, and then go to each individual day and hit edit. Were you giving me a time, Haverty? Oh, thank you. Brilliant. Go to edit, and each individual performance, change that cutoff time. and do what's right for you. Because I think that there's pros and cons to both, right? But do what is going to be right for you and know that you can change that at any time. Okay, I'm going to take questions. So I'm going to ask one last little quick round of our brilliant panelists. Just like one way to take care of yourself, because we talked about it a little bit, but Fringe is a marathon. It is not a sprint. And you still have to live your life. There has to be some sort of work-life balance and take care of yourself. Otherwise, you will miss the entire last week because you were sick and burnt out and not able to keep going. So what is one piece of advice you would give to our new participants on how to take care of themselves in June?
Oh my God, please drink water.
Just bring it with you wherever you go. Because don't drink out of water bottles. They're like the plastic, right? You're just getting crap. Don't do that to yourself.
Go ahead and buy tea and lozenges and lemon and honey. I lost my voice 2 weeks before my show. That was really scary. You're going to be talking a lot. Try to talk into people's ears instead of above the crowd. So, you got to do that. And I hiked a lot. I walked a lot.
That last office hours, talk very quietly. Yes, because there'll be tons of people there that you've never seen this whole time.
Suddenly it's like everyone decided to show up and
Who's
play.
like, hey, come see my show, and you're like, I've already scheduled in my calendar the shows that I can see. So I say get some cheap mall massages. Go to the mall, get a massage. Whole Foods has these little immunity elderberry shots that have caffeine in them that gives you energy and keeps you healthy. Throat coat and biotin spray for dry mouth. Spray it right before you go on stage, and you will not have dry mouth during your show.
Oh, and hugs. Hugs are key. Hug your fellow fringers. They're very good for you.
I'm going to go practical. If you're seeing a ton of shows in a day, make sure you eat, but also maybe don't drive. Maybe just Uber, because parking is horrendous. And if you're going to be running from venue to venue, you probably just want to Uber or carpool or figure out some other way to get there.
The metro runs right in Hollywood.
The train is right there. The buses are actually work pretty well, strangely. But make sure you actually plan a break in there to eat something or pack some food with you. And there's also Fringe discounts at several of the restaurants on Santa Monica. So, eat. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is that self-care? Maybe.
Yeah. No, and you will forget to eat.
You will literally forget to eat.
And take care of each other. Check in with each other. Like we say, it's a community that makes Fringe special, right? So check in with your Fringe buddies. Have you eaten today? You seem really stressed out. Is there anything I can do is there anything I can take off your plate? Or why don't I pick you up so you don't have to drive to the next venue? So take care of each other, and it will really change the experience. Okay, I'm going to take questions, and this time I'm going to...
If you're a woman, if you're whatever, and it's late at night, get somebody else to walk you. Let's walk together, okay? Because you need to help each other get to each other's cars.
That was a worthy jump in. And we will send out safety reminders as we get closer to the festival, because we are in Hollywood, y'all. I live like 4 blocks from the center of Hollywood, and I don't walk after 10 unless I have a buddy. And we want to make sure that people, especially who don't live in Hollywood or are here regularly, understand it is a big city and bad things happen, and how can we take care of each other. Okay, I'm going to start questions. So my hand and keep going this way. Name and show.
Hi, my name is Cindy DeAndrea. My show is called Catch It Crazy Part 2, A Fresh Step. Catch It Crazy Part 1 I did at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival last year. My question is, the last time I did a Hollywood Fringe was 2018, when there were a lot more theaters up there on Santa Monica Boulevard. Now I'm just noticing that the venues are very spread out. So how can we maintain that Fringe energy? Go see this show. How can we even advise people? Oh, you're going to need maybe a few extra minutes, because I'm at the Actors Company, and that's on Formosa. So, You know, just that. And also, is the venue allowed to take, they're not allowed to take ticket money, right?
So I'm going to start with ticket because that's going to be a shorter answer. It is up to the contract. Most venues, the contract is you pay a flat fee, and then you get 100% of the ticket sales. There are, I don't know that there are any this year, but I know in the past there's been like a 50-50 split, but that was in the contract with the participant well before. But I don't think that that's the case this year. So usually we give 100% of the tickets to participants. We don't take anything from it. And yet you're right. There aren't as many theaters. The complex, we all know was a huge loss. And we do have still quite a few, and we're working on advocating for theater to come back to that complex space as a festival and as a city. But they're clustered is kind of how we as a festival have been thoughtful in making sure, because the mileage hasn't changed. It's always been 3 miles. It's changed a little bit, but there are clusters. So like if you're at Actors Company, you have Art of Acting Studio and Greenway Arts Alliance, and there's like at least 3 venues all together walkable, and then some clusters are like 5 or 6 venues. So, and they're all numbered, so you can kind of tell which ones, like, oh, 3, 4, and 5, they're going to be near each other, or 21, 22, and 23. So yeah, is it ideal? No, but it's kind of closer to Edinburgh, I guess, where the venues are just a little more spread out. And I've hustled there before, and that's not easy. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Caldwell. My show is Maeve's Post-Colonial 12th House Party. Yes, it is about the 12th house of astrology, partially. And my question, I have 2 questions. One's real quick. Is it too late to change our category? That's one.
You can change your category the day before the voting. Well, maybe not quite that late. Maybe not quite that late. I don't know. Let's hear from Lois.
Logistically, I was like, as the person who's editing the guide, you will, if you submit a form by May 3rd, I can technically still get the category change in the guide. But you have to submit the form that's been going out in all of the participant newsletters and change it on the website. So change it on the website, submit the form by May 3rd. It will not happen after that. Or, yes, Rebecca is right. You can change it later. It just won't be matching the printed guide, which could be confusing for people searching for your show.
I changed mine from the printed guide.
Right. And so you can do
and
that.
I won.
But don't do it. No, it is absolutely true. But be careful making sure, because awards are the day after now, and you don't know when I'm pulling that list. So I would not do it the day before, just to make sure it is all for naught.
And the second question has to do with those awards. This day that we're going through the long list, when is that? Did we miss it?
Oh, no. It's in mid-May.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Don't worry. We know that you're worried about ticket on sale, marketing. In mid-May, we're going to send you, and it's going to be really easy to digest, y'all. We're going to send you a list of all of the sponsored presenters, guidelines for deciding whether or not you fit that category, and the links to apply. So it's all going to be in one place. And then if we add any after that date, we'll send another email that says, hey, check the blog. There's going to be, some more sponsored awards there.
Great. Thank you.
Hey, I'm Jean. The show is My Mother Doesn't Know I'm Kinky. She knows now. I'm curious if there have been any TV and film opportunities for anybody that has accidentally or purposefully came into your lives because of...
It's all coming, sweetheart. It's all
Tell
coming.
me more.
Yes, somebody who came to see so I did the Santa Monica
Playhouse?
Fringe Festival.
Okay.
Yeah, after this, from that opportunity came, and somebody from an upcoming animated show came and saw it, and I've now gone and done several voiceover, several different characters based on that.
Thank you. That's very inspiring.
I mean, I really do have something maybe coming, but we don't need a can of horror poo.
She's warding off evil spirits.
We had the first year when we did Punch and Judy, our lead actor, we had somebody from America's Got Talent show up. And eventually our lead actor ended up on America's Got, I think not in Germany. He ended up in America's Got Talent.
Fun.
because my show is like a comedy, I taped it myself for like a comedy special, and then we're just kind of shopping it around. So
Hot damn. Good for you.
yeah.
And pay attention to that industry program because it is still a new program. We're only in like it wasn't even around for like the early years of Fringe, but we're working actively to get more representatives from film and TV just to kind of just start to create that relationship building so that you can possibly be seen by some of these places. So keep an eye on industry because those are the people that are going to be in there, even if they're not presenting an award.
We tried to get sued by Paramount when we did Klingon Tamberlane, and they didn't care.
Well, hi everyone. My name is Ruth Brandt, and the name of my solo show is called Happily Divorced. And I'm also at the Actors Theater Company and first-time Fringer. So I wanted to ask, how does one find a good publicist? And by the way, thank you to all of you. This has been very informative. I'm very grateful to be here.
I know on the sometimes on the Hollywood Fringe site, there's a couple of folks who will like list their services there.
Participant packet.
Yeah, there's Matt, there's Scott Golden, and then there's just in general like a bunch of random publicists, Cooker and Lee and Susan Gordon and a couple of others. Who is it? I don't. Yeah, there's a bunch of them.
Yeah.
You might even just pop that on the Fringe Facebook page and ask, and somebody's going to be like, me, or this person, or that person.
Yeah, mine was Philip Sokoloff.
Yeah,
It's just
mine was Philip Sokoloff.
It's just word of mouth, really. Like, but the community again is great, and if you ask people, like, you will get the information you need.
And do your research, right? Like ask on that Facebook group, and then see who people are recommending, and then look what shows they did on the Fringe website. And they're like, oh, okay, that show did not do well. I'm not going to call them, that kind of thing. And then, so is it a quick one? Okay.
I want to know where I can get that fabulous T-shirt. How can I get a Hollywood Fringe? How do I get a follow? Okay, that's all I want to know. I want to promote myself 24/7.
Yeah, Fringe Central. I have all sorts of cute merch this year, y'all, and vintage pieces.
Hi, everybody. My name is Misha. We are showing a show called The Border. It's a Russian anti-war self-confession. And my question to you is maybe more like a word of wisdom. So, like, the whole business part of Fringe is falling on me, not kind of heavy, but it's a drama piece that we are doing, and we're still in rehearsal, right? And, like, there is so much more I can take from. So every minute I'm spending here or am going to be spending at the office hours or any other promotional events is going to be a minute taking from me working on the script. And it's a drama, so, you know, like the day I cannot squeeze nothing more from the script or character development, probably I'll have to end the show. So how do you split your time in between your entrepreneur? And we have a team, and I still feel like I need to take a lead on like promotional activities. So how do you split your time and find the peace of mind, like splitting in between an artist and entrepreneur?
Well, I would say if there's somebody who has a smaller role than you, delegate. Delegate, find friends who can take something on. If somebody can go to office hours instead of you and promote for you, have them go do that. But you know, this business is like 90% business and 10% creative, so.
Yeah, you downer. Yeah. Sorry.
Russian community in LA. If you post to those folks, they're going to want to support.
We do reach out to Russian community, of course, but also like once again, like there's so much business that I feel we need to put into this festival.
But you don't want to do all the work and then have nobody show up.
Yeah, you can't. And she's not wrong. You really have to delegate. I was the producer, the fight choreographer, and the lead in the show last year, and I had to learn how to dance. I cried. But I did it, right? But it did take away from my ability to go to office hours a lot because we would be in rehearsal on those days and I just couldn't go to everything. The show still did well. I mean, we did and for me at that point, it was about making the show the best thing it could be. That was the most important thing to me. the most important thing to me. I had to relinquish part of that and just ask people, would you go to office hours? Would you drop these off at office hours? Would you please do that? And I would post on Facebook and do the social media as much as possible. You have to decide what's more important to you.
I have a philosophy these days where back in the day, they said that you had to be a triple threat to be successful, right? Singer, actor, dancer. I truly, truly believe that in order for you to be successful in this day and age, you have to be a performer, producer. You cannot get anywhere unless you're producing and working on your own stuff. And unfortunately, that includes not just the creative, but the marketing, the publicity, the outreach. Like, these are the things that, because no one else is going to do them for you, no one is going to give a shit about your show as much as you give a shit about your show. So these are unfortunately the things that come with the territory.
And if you can find like an intern or somebody who's interested in this and wants to know about Fringe, who would be willing to do the email leg of, you know, emailing press or emailing awards people, so that you don't have to do that part, you know, if you just kind of have a template and then have that person take care of it for you so you can focus on that. But you got to delegate. Yeah.
Okay, y'all, I'm so sorry. I have to cut it off because we're.
You know what?
It's not gonna let
It's
me.
better you do it. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. You can sleep in July.
I think that actually was the perfect note to end it on. Thank you, Rebecca. I'll be here after while Haverty is taking down to take any last questions, y'all. But thank you, Amelia, Rebecca, Jen, Bonnie. Thank you so much. We are so lucky to have you in the Fringe family. And y'all, you'll sleep in July.
Give it up for Lois.
A lot of my students.
Yeah, and there is your production assistant. We have a director now finally. We have a director now, and we got the assistant director as well. So we're getting the entire team, but also like the face that I feel like no one cares about the show like I do. And I feel like we're better movies now than so many of our well, I mean, I hope like, I mean, everyone needs to have it. Yeah.